Good evening. Thank you all for joining us for the 2021 ASPCA Humane Awards. I'm Chuck Scarborough, and I'm honored to welcome you as your host. Now, this year's Humane Awards event is, again, virtual for everybody's safety. But even though we can't be together in person for what is always a moving occasion, we put a lot of effort into making sure this awards ceremony reflects the driving spirit and the purpose of this event, spotlighting and celebrating amazing animal and human heroes. What does it mean to be a hero? Well, that's certainly a relevant question as we experience a range of responses to a global health crisis, as well as turmoil at home and abroad. But for me, heroism is about selfless actions and inspiration. How one act of heroism, kindness, and commitment can inspire more acts just like it. The people and animals you'll meet at this event are great examples of that kind of heroism because their actions inspired their communities. They inspired us, and now they will inspire you. Here's just a taste of who they are and why we consider them humane heroes.
If you can find a way to help animals and we don't have that program, we'll start it tomorrow.
Horses are so generous as animals. We become better people by being better for them.
Human issues and animal issues overlap with each other, and you can't really address one without addressing the other.
It's so rare to see a black guy doing cat rescue. It was like that epiphany, I think I'm supposed to do this.
At the shelter, they're like all lonely and in their cages with no one to love them, and that's not right.
Helping animals in need is really one of the things that our brand and our franchise is all about.
I'm fortunate enough to have a dog that can not only do so many incredible things for me, but also for the world as a whole.
I am so proud to be an ASPCA supporter, fan, and friend. And I know you are too, and I hope you consider actively contributing to the ASPCA's life-saving work by visiting aspca.org/give and donating what you can. Every contribution makes a difference for the dogs, cats, horses, and farm animals in need. It is now a pleasure to introduce my friend, the President and CEO of the ASPCA, Matt Bershadker.
Thank you, Chuck, and thank you all for attending our second and hopefully our final virtual ASPCA Humane Awards. The COVID pandemic keeps us guessing about our future, but it hasn't stopped us from imagining and acting on the challenges of animal welfare today and into the future. These challenges haven't ceased or slowed in the face of the pandemic, and we haven't either. The ASPCA is deeply committed to fulfilling the needs of vulnerable and victimized animals efficiently, effectively, and decisively. And with our expertise and our knowledge and resources, we are uniquely qualified to do just that. Creating this event in a way that safely but appropriately honors deserving animal welfare heroes was an immense effort. And I'd like to thank our ASPCA Special Events team for pulling it off. I'd also like to thank our Humane Awards Luncheon Chairs, who were determined to keep this event focused on mission. And thank you to our sponsor, the Crum and Forrester Pet Insurance Group, who have generously supported this event every year for the last 15 years. And finally, I thank all of our ASPCA supporters watching right now. You inspire me with your deep generosity and compassion. Over the last 2 decades, the number of animals euthanized in U.S. shelters has dramatically declined. This collective and exciting success has allowed the ASPCA and others in the animal welfare community to focus on and address the root causes, not just the consequences of animal homelessness and suffering. Animal adoption and rehoming efforts are and will continue to be important, but it's critical for us to understand and commit to 3 relatively new strategies for this work: increasing access to veterinary care, behavioral rehabilitation for hard-to-adopt animals, and learning and sharing. First, Our data shows that millions of US households are likely to enter poverty as a result of the COVID-19 crisis. That means millions of pets will also enter poverty, bringing the total number of pets living in poverty to nearly 25 million. In one study, many pet owners with low annual incomes indicated that free or even low-cost vet services would have prevented them from relinquishing their pets. Responding to these insights, we continue to create and to prioritize programs that make veterinary care more accessible and affordable for pet owners who are coping with financial hardship. In recent years, we launched community veterinary centers in areas of persistent poverty in Miami, the Bronx, Brooklyn, one coming in Queens later next year, and 2 in Los Angeles by early 2024. In addition to treating animals immediately, these facilities are innovating and implementing new veterinary protocols and techniques that will be shared with other veterinarians and shelters, dramatically improving the accessibility and efficiency of providing medical care for animals in need. As we get closer and closer to a day when no adoptable animal is needlessly euthanized, many of the animals left in our shelters will be dogs with behavioral challenges. This puts them at risk. Most of you are already familiar with our behavioral sciences work at the ASPCA Animal Hospital, the Canine Annex for Recovery and Enrichment, and particularly the Behavioral Rehabilitation Center in Weaverville, North Carolina. And this year, we announced plans to significantly increase our commitment to this work and help even more animals recover from abuse and neglect at the newly opened Cruelty Recovery Center in Columbus, Ohio, and the upcoming Recovery and Rehabilitation Center in Pauling, New York. These facilities are dedicated to treating animals who have suffered, helping them heal and move on to loving homes. And finally, I can't stress enough how important it is to not only generate good ideas and practices, but to share them through training and dialogue with other humane organizations. As you can see, we're committed to saving lives, not just animal by animal, but family by family and community by community. That work relies on collaborations with a wide range of people, shelters, leaders, and agencies. Despite the ASPCA's unique standing and influence in the animal welfare community, there's no question that when we collaborate, pool our ideas, and learn from each other, we innovate more, we achieve more, and we save more lives. That spirit of shared goals and supporting each other is a hallmark of these awards. So I ask you to view today's Humane Awards recipients not just as individual people and organizations acting independently, but as a powerful, collective, unified force driven by one idea: that animals deserve the best protection and care that we can possibly provide. Those of you watching this event have always been our strongest supporters, and I'm grateful to you. We will continue to earn that trust through our commitments to the ASPCA's longstanding mission, our deep compassion for suffering animals, and our integrity as an organization. Thank you so much. Chuck, thank you for leading us once again, and I turn this back over to you to introduce our first Humane Awards recipient.
Thank you, Matt. Now, I know you're excited about meeting our 2021 Humane Award recipients, so let's get started. At the University of Maryland Medical Center of Baltimore, a sweet Rottweiler named Loki provides comfort and support, not only for the patients there, but also for the heroic healthcare workers. Loki's unique presence and impact, especially during the COVID-19 outbreak, earned him the title of 2021 ASPCA Dog of the Year.
When you think of a therapy dog coming into a room, you don't think they're gonna come in with scrubs and a white coat. Dr. Loki is a 4-year-old Rottweiler who is state and nationally certified for therapy work. She can walk into a room and point out who is the person that needs the attention the most, and she will go right to them. I had never trained her to do that. She just somehow knew to do it.
Being ill is a profound experience, and I think when we're sick, we may feel isolated. And I think what a dog does, and especially Loki, is it creates a connection. And so for those few minutes, the world is normal again.
When I first brought Loki into the hospital, we were trying to come up with something that would kind of diffuse the fact that it was a 110-pound Rottweiler. And so I always thought I was gonna dress her up in some type of costume. But as a medical student, I had no money. I went to the uniform office and asked them if they'd be willing to give me some scrubs. And so when she was walking around the hospital, everyone would be like, oh, look, it's a doctor, and it just stuck. I'll never forget the first time I brought Loki in, it was the holidays, and there was this young teenage girl who had been T-boned by a truck, and she did not want to get out of bed or do physical therapy. She had a traumatic brain injury, and apparently the moment Loki came in, it was the first time that the daughter had smiled since the accident. Without question, the daughter was willing to do physical therapy if she got to hold Loki's leash and bring her around the unit. And as I was leaving the room, the mother came running after me and started crying and hugged me and said that was the first time she's seen her daughter feel happy since the actual incident happened.
Our frontline workers have been amazingly challenged and unfortunately continued to be challenged during this pandemic. And particularly as specific during COVID, when patients feel so isolated, family couldn't come in, staff came in with all the PPE and gowns and so forth. It can be very disheartening.
We started doing FaceTime or Zoom calls with patients who were truly struggling being alone because they weren't allowed to have family and friends come visit them.
Loki's role throughout the University of Maryland Medical Center has taken on so many shapes during this pandemic response. It's been everything from connecting one-on-one to organizing supplies to help support all of our caregivers.
A Hero Healing Kit is a package that we put together. They're mostly hygienic items that could be used during the workday, such as Vaseline to kind of protect their skin, chapstick, Gold Bonds powder. We were looking for items that could actually be useful while they were dressed up in PPE all day for potentially 12 plus hours at any given time. I used Loki social media to rally donations, and people just responded so amazingly well.
I think Loki brings us back to who we are as people. She's a reminder that with love and with connection, we're gonna do just fine.
There's so many ways to describe Loki. She's a wonderful dog. She smiles all the time. She loves people. She gets engaged and she pays attention.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Loki's owner, Caroline Benzel.
Hi, my name is Caroline Benzel, and this is Dr. Loki, a therapy dog at the University of Maryland Medical Center. On behalf of all of us in Maryland, we want to give a huge thank you to the ASPCA for honoring Loki with this year's Dog of the Year award. It's incredible to think that our work during the pandemic, along with just the work we do on the daily with patients and staff, is being recognized by such an incredible organization. But it's also more important to me personally that a dog like Loki, who's a Rottweiler and often misunderstood, can also be getting an award for showing that this breed can be kind, compassionate, and caring. This goes out to all the big dogs out there that are often misunderstood by the public. So to the ASPCA, again, we want to give a huge thank you for everything that you do and for just even honoring us with such prestigious awards such as this.
Thank you, Caroline. The ASPCA Tommy P. Monahan Kid of the Year Award honors a 9-year-old Staten Island boy who perished in a house fire trying to save his pet. This year's winner, 11-year-old Evan Bisnott, is committed to helping homeless animals in his Bronx community however he can. But his specialty is reading to them in a remarkably compassionate way, bringing each of those vulnerable animals steps closer to adoption. For his remarkable dedication to local animals in need, Evan Bisnott is our 2021 ASPCA Kid of the Year.
My mom, she saw a dog tied up to the fence. She brought it to the animal care center. She found out about this program that the volunteers could read to the dogs. And I adore dogs.
He said, I really want to work with dogs. And I said, well, would you like to volunteer at the shelter? And he said, yes.
We started Books with Thoroughbreds here at ACC to give kids an opportunity to come in and help animals. So when kids come in and read to the animals, they're able to calm and comfort them, and it's really needed and much appreciated. They'll get used to people being outside their cages. They'll get used to different human beings. These are animals that hopefully will have homes soon, but in the meantime, really need someone to come in and just pay attention to them and spend some time.
Sometimes he just stops reading and he'll just talk to them. And I think that's just what they need. Sometimes it's a story, sometimes it's just talk to me. I just want your attention.
I like it when they cuddle next to the cage and like just lay down. My heart feels warm. My favorite story to read to the dogs is Belly Rubbin' for Bubbins. The story is about a dog that was placed into the shelter and got adopted. So I like reading that to the dogs because when I'm done reading the book, I'm like, you will get adopted. You know, I have hope for you.
He targets those dogs that are in need of immediate placement. He goes and he's very patient, he's very calm, and he sits there. Even though they're barking at him in his face, he's just gonna sit there and he's just be like, I know it's hard, but I'm here. And if you wanna hear a story, you're gonna have to be quiet.
Hey there, little buddy. You've got no parents, no collar. I'm gonna take you to the shelter, so please don't holler. I want people to see that that's how the dog would normally act around you.
So we started doing before and after videos. People were just responding well to it. We had Instagram, Facebook, and it just kind of grew from there.
I started doing these animations in COVID because I couldn't go to the shelter. We started this merch store. So it was basically Evie and the Pet shirts.
He said, I kind of just want some merch and I want to raise money because we need to help these dogs. That's what he did. And we posted it and people started sharing it, got all the shirts sold.
We raised $1,000 to help the ACC. I want people to know that this is the right dog for them. And if that connects with the person, the dog will get adopted. He was finally chosen. He knew deep, deep down that he was finally okay because he'd been adopted by a loving family today.
Ladies and gentlemen, I am pleased to introduce Evan Bisnott.
As a junior volunteer for the Manhattan ACC, helping animals is so important to me. Seeing how every animal is affected by their circumstances is heartbreaking to see, week after week. Being in the shelter motivates me to raise awareness for the homeless animals and how we can all help just by being there and being kind. It has been very hard to be at the shelter with the animals, so I had to get creative and get these pets some exposure. My hope for the future is to simply just be back in the shelter and go further on my mission, and maybe one day have a rescue of my own. I look at this award and I see how many people care about the welfare of animals, and it motivates me so that I can do more and find different ways to help these animals. I want to thank the ASPCA for this award, the staff and volunteers at the ACC for allowing me to be a part of this program, the animals for giving me the opportunity to build their trust and show them love, and most of all, my family and friends for supporting me and my mission. Thank you. No matter how small you think you are, you can make a difference, and I hope I've motivated you to do that.
Thank you, Evan. When racehorses retire, they often face an uncertain and even perilous fate. That's where Retired Racehorse Project steps in, connecting these vulnerable animals to new careers and lives that sustain their health. For helping thoroughbreds transition to safe new roles after their racing careers end, the Retired Racehorse Project is the recipient of the 2021 ASPCA Equine Welfare Award.
In the thoroughbred industry, every year there are over 10,000 horses that are ready for a new career after racing. All of the nonprofit organizations cannot absorb that many horses in a given year. So you also need amateur equestrians and professional equestrians who part of their business model is taking horses and retraining them.
We started this organization because I knew, and a lot of my peers knew, that these horses were falling through the cracks. Nobody was really promoting them as riding horses. And we knew that if we educated folks in how to train them, a lot more would get second careers, and a lot more people would become better horsemen as well.
We're looking to get these horses into successful long careers. We're looking at them for all the incredible things that they can do. And so the RRP coming in and showing that it's very possible is a really big deal.
When a horse comes off of the racetrack, it's used to going fast, so you have to kind of slow their body down and slow their brain down. So it's just kind of reschooling their mind and their body. The demand for thoroughbreds after racing is definitely on the rise. We work really hard to try to educate the thoroughbred industry too, the owners and trainers, about all of the different right ways to transition their horses after racing. We do a lot of educational work through seminars and webinars and demonstrations and on our website and on our social media platforms to help people navigate that process and appreciate all of the different aspects of it. The Thoroughbred Makeover is our signature competition. It is the largest thoroughbred retraining competition in the world. It's open to retired racehorses in their first year of retraining after racing.
The Thoroughbred Makeover is a chance to showcase what all these horses can do in their second career.
Or whether it's a competition horse, a recreational riding horse, a lesson horse, a trail horse, there's so many other things that they can do.
You know, if you get out of the military and you're trained to do one thing one way, you might need to get a business degree or a master's degree to start a business. That's all we're doing for these horses. It does give us a lot of joy to watch a horse blossom. That relationship between the horse and its new owner and giving it the time to grow, watching that connection between the human and the horse is pretty special.
Horses are mirrors. They are so generous as animals that when we take the time to kind of look inwardly and make sure that we are being the best version of ourselves, they pick up on a lot of feelings and a lot of whatever it is that we're bringing into a situation. We become better people by being better for them.
Ladies and gentlemen, I am so pleased to introduce Jen Reutz from the Retired Racehorse Project.
Hi, my name is Jen Reutz. I'm the Executive Director for the Retired Racehorse Project. And on behalf of our staff, our board members, and all of our supporters around the country, I want to thank the ASPCA for the Equine Welfare Award for 2021. We are so honored to receive this award for the work that we do on behalf of thoroughbreds. The RRP's mission centers around creating more opportunities, demand, and value for thoroughbreds after racing, and we do that in a variety of ways. Through the Thoroughbred Makeover, which is the largest retraining competition in the world, to putting out Off Track Thoroughbred magazine 4 times a year, to putting on clinics and demonstrations around the country, teaching equestrians how to go through the retraining process of thoroughbreds. We are creating more opportunities for thoroughbreds after racing. And the ASPCA has just been an incredible partner in doing that throughout the country, throughout the year, and we're excited to continue to partner with them. So on behalf of our staff members, our board, all of our Thoroughbred Makeover competitors, and all of our sponsors, donors, and supporters around the country, thank you to everyone at the ASPCA for the incredible work that you do on behalf of thoroughbreds, horses, small animals of all shapes and sizes. We really appreciate your work, and we are so thankful for this award.
Thank you, Jen. The Oregon Humane Society is a longtime leader in the national animal sheltering community. They employ innovative animal welfare approaches that go far beyond what we picture when we think of the traditional role of community animal shelters, including outstanding work in behavioral rehabilitation, veterinary education, government relations, and low-cost community services. For their unique and influential approaches to saving animal lives, the Oregon Humane Society is the recipient of the ASPCA's 2021 Henry Berg Award.
The services of the Oregon Humane Society are as broad as the need, whether it's disaster response, veterinary care, humane law enforcement. If you can find a way to help animals and we don't have that program, we'll start it tomorrow.
We provide all the public training, educational classes. We also provide training and education for our volunteers, staff, vet students, and we have a behavior rehabilitation program for dogs and cats. We hope to keep the pet in their home. That's what we're looking for. But if that's not possible, we can then provide the behavior help to the pet and then help match them with people. And then we can also help those people that adopt come through classes and continue to get the help they need.
A component of working in the shelter is dealing with forensic cases, which will come in through our Humane Law Enforcement Department. And so that involves animals that either have suffered from abuse, cruelty, or neglect, that might need medical care, long-term management, or be part of an investigation case that might last a long time where they need somewhere to stay and be cared for during that process.
Our approach at Humane Law Enforcement is we are looking to work with people first, right? It's not law enforcement first, it's not citations and arrests first. It's assessing what the situation is, talking to people, seeing if they need any resources. Is there anything that we can provide to somebody? You know, maybe they need some food to get them over tough times. Maybe they need some flea medications. It's about looking at what the situation is rather than coming in and accusing people of doing something wrong.
We have an emergency animal rescue team. The Oregon Humane Society Technical Animal Rescue Team, or OSTAR, is our strike team that'll be the first responders, and they're backed up by an army of volunteers and FEMA-certified staff to follow them. This team is there to answer the call to any animal in distress. In the recent wildfires last summer, OSTAR was one of the first teams to go in and rescue animals that were either in danger in evacuation zones or after the fire had passed through to help those survivors and those victims get safety and veterinary care. The needs of our community are vast. Oregon has a high poverty rate in much of the state, and particularly in our primary service area, the Portland metro area. Access to veterinary care is severely limited, and this has been exacerbated by COVID. If your pet has an emergency, there is no program to help people on a scale that is needed to provide access to veterinary care.
I think one of the things that makes us really unique is how well we work together in all our different departments. So the behavior and training team couldn't do the work we do without the medical team, without the animal care team, even the volunteer teams. I think it's quite unique in the way we work. And I think we're also pretty unique in the fact that we take animals from all over that have different behaviors. We don't just specialize in one specific behavior. We're very, very good at being able to figure out, oh, how do we make this work?
My hope is that no pet ever suffers from lack of access to veterinary care, that every abused animal gets justice, and that anytime there's a disaster, that we have a safe, warm, comforting place for those animals to go right now.
Ladies and gentlemen, I am pleased to introduce Sharon Harmon from the Oregon Humane Society.
We are incredibly honored to receive this Henry Berg Award from the ASPCA. The Oregon Humane Society and the ASPCA have been longtime partners in the fight against animal cruelty and seeking justice for those animals who have been abused and helping animals in times of disaster. The Oregon Humane Society was established in 1868, shortly after the founding of the ASPCA. Both of our organizations were established to help carriage horses and farm animals, and both organizations have expanded our influence to help our companion animals as well as other more vulnerable members of our society that need help. We both stand together in creating a more humane society. I can only say thanks to the people who made it possible, our donors, our board of trustees, our incredible staff, and our amazing volunteers, all 6,000 of them who are pulling hard to make a more humane society here and anywhere there is a need. Thank you, ASPCA, for the Henry Berg Award.
Thank you, Sharon. City governments play a big part in local animal welfare, and that work often relies on putting key people in critical roles. Here in New York City, animals are fortunate to have Christine Kim on their side. As director of the New York City Mayor's Office of Animal Welfare, Christine Kim has been instrumental in bringing diverse city groups together to advance laws and regulations that protect animals in every borough. For her professional dedication to the welfare of animals across New York City, Christine Kim is our 2021 Public Service Award recipient.
We're very proud to be here on this incredibly historic day to witness the official signing of 7 pieces of legislation to protect animals from exploitation and abuse. There's also 2 people in the room who work in the mayor's office that have been incredibly helpful to us. Put your hands together for Christine Kim and Jeff Dupay.
My name is Christine Kim, and I'm the director of the Mayor's Office of Animal Welfare.
The director of the Mayor's Office of Animal Welfare is the first of its kind in the nation.
Before this position existed, our job at the ASPCA was much more difficult. Oftentimes, we are shouting into the government void saying, this is a problem, come help us, come help us. Having someone like Christine there, instead of working on something for years, you're able to come up with a solution or a plan after a couple of conversations.
Every animal issue that you could think of falls within this portfolio, so we have the power to advise and assist the mayor with all citywide animal issues.
I would describe Christine Kim as an incredibly smart, motivated, compassionate person. She's really great at collecting input from various voices in the community and synthesizing that into really cohesive policy for the animals.
One of the first things she did when she got this job, she asked, where are you finding obstacles?
And they said, 100% animal hoarding.
So she put together this animal hoarding roundtable with representatives from all the city agencies.
We had a case and we approached it as a group of agencies together. Christine never lost sight of both the animals and the people.
Human issues and animal issues overlap with each other, and you can't really address one without addressing the other.
When the COVID-19 crisis hit, Christine was one of the first in government to recognize that this was an emergency that we would need a coordinated response for.
It was at Christine's urging to open a public hotline for pet owners experiencing various hardships due to COVID-19. We were able to help close to 20,000 pets get services thanks to Christine and her idea and advocacy.
She was dropping off flyers at the school food distribution sites, making the connection that if you need food for your family, odds are you will need food for your pet. You know, really trying to make sure that people and pets were able to stay together.
It's about collaboration, and it's about caring about what people have to say and what could be done to improve animal issues and animal welfare in New York City.
Ladies and gentlemen, I am pleased to introduce Christine Kim.
Hello from New York City. I'm honored to be the recipient of the Public Service Humane Award. I want to thank the ASPCA for recognizing the role of the Mayor's Office in advancing animal welfare. Through the work of the Mayor's Office of Animal Welfare, the first and only office of its kind in the country, we were able to show that animal welfare, protecting the human-animal bond, and helping people and animals in crisis are not just ancillary services, but an essential public service and government function, especially during the last year and a half when so many New Yorkers were facing health emergencies and economic uncertainty. I was privileged to be at the helm of that work even before the office's inception, to be with New Yorkers through the worst public health crisis of our lifetime, and to help lay the foundation for the recovery for a better, stronger New York City. I thank the ASPCA for being an incredible partner in serving animals and people. This work would not be possible without you.
Thank you, Christine. For more than a decade, Subaru of America has dedicated itself to strengthening the bonds between people and pets, including national and community efforts that spotlight animals with special needs and older animals and providing vital funding to community animal shelters. Through a long-standing partnership with the ASPCA, Subaru has supported the rescue, transport, and adoption of more than 74,000 animals nationwide. We are proud to honor Subaru's commitment to animals in need with the 2021 Corporate Compassion Award.
Helping animals in need is really one of the things that our brand and our franchise is all about. We wanted to figure out how we could build deeper connections with our customers. And what we found out was when we were talking with our customers and understanding what they thought about Subaru, over 2/3 of our customers had pets. And they used their Subaru to transport their pets. And so we thought it would be a natural tie-in. And that's how being involved with the ASPCA came about.
Since 2008, Subaru has impacted over 250,000 pets through our Subaru Loves Pets initiative. The ASPCA Subaru Loves Pets grant program is a way for our Subaru retailers to partner with their local animal shelters. The retailers are able to work with the shelter to host an adoption event to help animals find a loving home. The ASPCA Subaru grant program helps with providing services such as vaccinations, microchip, surgeries to have pets be ready for adoption.
Last year, we actually worked with an organization called Paws Crossed. It's a shelter right here in town. They do about 550 adoptions a year. We work with them. We pledged $100 for each pet that got adopted during the month of October. So we set the goal to have 31 pets adopted, and we actually wound up with 62 pets. So another thing we found out was really cool about that is that those 62 pets getting adopted actually helped out another 62 pets as it opened up pens for 62 more dogs and cats to come in. The best part is when you see the family connect with the animal they're adopting. You can feel the energy from the pets. They know they're getting adopted. The family's picking up a new member of the household, and it's just great to be a part of it and help support that.
In 2019, Subaru started the first National Make a Dogs Day on October 22nd. We wanted a way to support our pets, specifically special needs dogs who might have a harder time getting adopted. Our Subaru Share the Love event is our end-of-year sales campaign where Subaru donates $250 per car sold or leased to the customer's choice of charities.
For ASPCA, we've raised $30 million since the start of Share the Love program. Last year, we had 519 of our retailers participate.
It's really cool to walk into a Subaru retail store and see people come in and adopt and really create a meaningful connection with those animals.
And we had close to 23,000 pets adopted. I think it was an average of 4.5 pets a day. It was unbelievable. That people recognize that we're just not selling a product, that we're actually good people in business trying to help others. And we hope we're with them for the next 13 years and 13 more years after that.
Ladies and gentlemen, I am pleased to introduce Tom Dahl, Chief Executive Officer of Subaru of America.
Thank you, Chuck, for your kind and thoughtful introduction. And good evening, ladies and gentlemen, Matt, and our valued partners at the ASPCA. I'm incredibly excited to accept this first ever Corporate Compassion Award on behalf of Subaru America and our 634 Subaru retailers nationwide. Our company recognized a very long time ago that our owners had a passion and love for their pets, who are not only loyal companions, but integral members of their family unit. In fact, for many of us who have a pet in our home, we know that they can teach us a lot about ourselves. But unfortunately, not all animals are provided with loving homes and families. Therefore, Subaru and our retailers made a long-standing commitment to help pets in our local communities through what we refer to as our Subaru Loves Pets initiative, helping over 250,000 pets since its inception. We put our hearts and souls into helping pets, and it's what's led us to establish National Make a Dogs Day, now held every October 22nd. This day was created to raise national and local awareness for all dogs, but especially for dogs with special needs, who we affectionately call the underdogs. These underdogs have particular traits and characteristics that make them lovable and charming in their own way. Now, you may not know this, but the ASPCA has been a charter member of our Subaru Share the Love program, And since that program began 13 years ago, Subaru and our retailers have donated $30 million to the ASPCA, and we have supported nearly 1,500 animal welfare-related events all across the country. We try to prove that every day is not just another day at the office, pun intended. It also brings me great joy to say that Subaru is the ASPCA's largest corporate donor, and through the creation of the ASPCA Subaru Grant Program, local shelters can apply for funding that they need to support our furry friends and to keep them safe and cared for. In addition, we've supported the rescue, transport, and adoption of more than 74,000 animals nationwide, helping unite these animals with loving homes that they deserve. And these are absolutely incredible numbers. So as you can see, the ASPCA and Subaru have shown that by working together, great things can be accomplished by a series of small things that have been brought together. At Subaru, it is our foundational principle to show love and respect to everyone, including our furry friends. And it is on their behalf that I accept this honor from the ASPCA. Thank you for recognizing Subaru and our retailers for our efforts. We look forward to continuing our partnership, as well as helping animals feel safe, healthy, and most importantly, loved. Our partnership with the ASPCA proves that anything is possible. Thank you so very much for recognizing Subaru and our retailers as the first ever recipient of the Corporate Compassion Award. Thank you so very much.
Thank you, Tom. A rapper and full-time cat advocate, Sterling Davis, also known as Trap King, uses his unique combination of insight, talent, and tenacity to help at-risk community cats throughout Atlanta. With his prominent social media presence and compelling story, Sterling breaks down stereotypes and inspires diverse communities to join the cause of helping homeless cats and kittens survive and thrive. For his outstanding commitment to animal welfare, action, and education, Sterling Davis is our 2021 Cat Advocate of the Year.
I finally got to a point where I wanted to be in music. I've been working on this music forever. I was getting recognized. I was about to go on the best tour I've ever been on, and then I got stupid and went to cat rescue. I was in between tours, and I saw a cat rescue ad in Craigslist. It said something about scoop and litter, helping with cats, and I'm like, I'm gonna do that until I go on tour. I know I'm the weird cat guy in my crew, but I didn't know all over the whole world, it's so rare to see a black guy doing cat rescue. And when I saw how bad it was lacking, that's when it was like, okay, this is a void I could feel. It was like that epiphany, oh, I think I'm supposed to do this. Trap King Humane Cat Solutions is my nonprofit that I started in 2017 to focus on TNR.
Sterling does something called TNR, which stands for Trap, Neuter, Return. It's just enough to do the least bit of disruption or harm, is to remove them quickly, perform the surgery where the males get neutered, the females get spayed, give them a vaccination too so that they're healthy, and then return them where they came from.
My goal was to fill that void between the Black community and community cat care and get more men engaged.
When Sterling shows up, you just know something good is going to happen for cats.
He lives and breathes his work. He lives in an RV so that he can be close to where he traps, so that he can travel and trap more.
It's a full-time effort, 9 to 5, 7 days a week, or the off hours.
He's very dedicated. Every time he walks into any environment and offers his services, he faces bodily danger.
That's one of the things that pushed me to understand you need to always make sure you educate the community. You need to give out as much information to let people know what you're gonna be doing and when you're gonna be doing it.
Sterling is a hero of mine. I've never seen him lose his temper. I've seen a lot of reasons why he would. And he is an example of grace and kindness.
Sterling had the insight to see a niche that needed to be filled in animal welfare, and he is doing it with excellence.
I rescue cats, and I like it, and I like volunteering, and I could do this for the rest of my life. I loved it enough for that. To see stuff like awareness, engagement, working against hypermasculinity, to shine a light on all of that, man, it's a hell of an honor. It's an amazing honor.
So trap like you know it. Trap like you know it.
Ladies and gentlemen, I am pleased to introduce Sterling Davis.
Thank you all so much. This is amazing. I saw that there was a gap between the Black community and the cat rescue community. So that's right, Alanice. That's my baby Alanice, if y'all can hear her. And I wanted to bridge that gap. A lot of people may not know Trap King and Trap Queen in the hip hop community is something that it's like the top dog. It's like Scarface, the Goodfellas. You the head honcho of your neighborhood, but that's a negative way. But we praise those negative things. So I wanted to use that and turn a negative into a positive. So when I say Trap King and Trap Queen, I wanted to grab the attention of different demographics and as well as get them engaged, make them aware as far as TNR and cat rescue. So that's why I started Trap King. I want to thank the ASPCA for this. I want to thank Rebecca Gwynn, Jen Taylor, Mickey Blair, Lifeline Animal Project for making me a king, for introducing me to TNR, teaching me TNR, and continuing to be a motivating force for me. Thank you. I want to thank the CARE organization, Companions and Animals for Reform and Equity. We got a lot of things coming up to help with diversity in cat rescue and animal welfare across the board. And I want to thank everybody. If you a foster, if you a adopter, if you doing TNR, if you bottle baby fostering, if you wanted a vet techs that get underappreciated a lot, I want to thank everybody, the vets, everybody that's in rescue, that's doing this. Thank you for everybody that supported Trap King along the way. We got big things coming up, and I want to dedicate this award to my cat Rick James and my uncle Kevin. Love y'all. Thank you.
Congratulations and a big thank you to Sterling and all of our 2021 ASPCA Humane Award winners. Now, if Sterling and our other recipients inspired you to further your support of animals in need, please consider making a gift at aspca.org/give so the ASPCA can continue its extraordinary, compassionate, and impactful work. On behalf of the ASPCA and at-risk animals across the country, thank you for joining us and for your generosity. Good night.